Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be taking a continued look at the potential tropical storm or hurricane that could be impacting the United States, as well as a quick look on Invest 96L. Sorry for not posting yesterday, I was very busy, but I'm not busy today, and we should, at least for the rest of the week, and hopefully longer, probably longer than that, we'll be continuing the daily posting schedule. So leave any comments or questions or video requests in the comments, and without further ado, let's get started. So first off, we're looking at Invest 96L, 40% chance of formation, so the chance is lowered due to a high wind shear, so conditions aren't as favorable as they used to be, wind shear, dry air. But so if it forms, it won't be until a higher latitude than previously thought. We could still be seeing a tropical storm, and marine impacts are possible to the United States or Bermuda, but at this point, it's not seeming very likely of anything major coming of the system as we did see in previous runs, so I'm not expecting too much from this system. Now, if we go to the intensity guidance, many models show it actually becoming a hurricane paths around the 1 week mark, but at that point it would probably be extra tropical, and honestly at extra tropical strengths we're not going to really be seeing that much anyway. But some models are showing a tropical storm, so definitely we could be seeing our next tropical storm from this if it can get its act together, but it's still very uncertain right now. But what is certain is that we definitely will not be seeing any major threats from this system. If I here, let me move this down here real quick. So the system that's going to be affecting land is this one right here, the 40%. We could be seeing a smaller out-to-sea system in this area of interest behind it, but I don't expect too much from that. So this 40% is going to be the main thing. And actually, a lot of ensembles yesterday were showing it going out to sea, but today and recently, we have somewhat of a western trend shows it going towards Texas, and some even riding the coast, definitely giving impacts there. But so anywhere from Texas to the Carolinas and Northeast out to sea, this could go. Now it also, so the land threat is definitely increasing. Whether it's going to actually impact land, I'm not going to say because I don't want to tell y'all there's going to be a hurricane and there won't be, but definitely the chances are increasing, especially because it's now a couple days closer. We're more certain, and actually models are on a strengthening trend. Most models that show this show it a hurricane because we are going to be seeing less dry air and shear than expected. So let's go to the GFS model here. So if we go around 6 days out, we do see this tropical cyclone becoming into frame, a newly formed tropical storm, and it takes a more southern trajectory than the 6 that you run on the GFS, and it actually impacts the Bahamas as a pretty strong tropical system, actually potentially a Category 2 or 3 hurricane, according to this run only, and then impacting the Keys before hitting Texas. And we do see that other area of interest around here that the Climate Prediction Center noted, but that is not anything right now. So this is definitely a very strong scenario. If we look at the wind shear, one second. If we look at the wind shear around the time this system is hitting, we do see it is not going into a very high shear environment. We do have only around 10 not 10 to 20 knots of wind shear. Let me write that out here, even though handwriting is bad with this. So 10 to 20 knots. I would say a tropical system can really sustain anything below 40, or strengthen with anything below 40. Again, it can probably strengthen much higher than that, but I'm saying the usual. So definitely, as we see, not a very high shear environment. So that's definitely going to allow the system to strengthen and not be inhibited very much. And the same goes true. I mean, it encounters a little more shear in the Gulf of Mexico, as we see here, or the Gulf of America, whatever you want to call it. But overall, it is not going to be having much. It's not going to be inhibited very much as you can see here. Not a lot of shear, but this, and as we do see here, very strong winds, but 900 MB. So this is not the actual wind speed of the system, but it's just to show that there's not going to be a lot of shear. Sorry. Anyway, if we look at the moisture, it's not gonna The environment actually is not too dry. I mean, it's not the as we see here around when the system is forming, there is a lot of dry air out in the MDR, so that might inhibit or delay strengthening. But as you see, as the system pulls through, it is going to go into a much moister environment as it gets closer to the United States. Because as you see here, the MDR has very dry air around when the system is supposed to come through. So that's definitely going to inhibit it. And that's why I don't want to say how, oh, we could have a major hurricane or whatever, because you never know. And really, it would be a long shot to say that right now. Um, Now, if we actually go to the wind speeds, let's go to the miles an hour wind speeds for the GFS model. Speed up here. So it shows a major hurricane, it reaching major hurricane strengths already around 195. It becomes a Category 4 hurricane over the Gulf with winds over 140 miles an hour. So definitely very strong. I mean, if you can just look at the model right there, that looks pretty concerning. Um, so that's definitely. Now it hits land as a Category 4 hurricane or a high end Category 3 inning, and brings hurricane impacts actually pretty far inland, as well as tropical storm impacts before quickly weakening. So definitely a much stronger scenario. If you look at the wind gust swath, um, tropical storm. I would say real impact start at tropical storm force sustained winds. Tropical storm force sustained strong can cause real impacts. Hurricane gusts can knock down trees, and hurricane sustained can definitely knock down trees. Tropical storm gusts, you can honestly see that on a week-to-week basis. It's not going to be anything too strong. But as soon as you get to tropical storm sustained, and then especially hurricane gusts, that's when the impacts really start to pick up. So as you see here, in the Florida Keys, we see up to 145 mile per hour gusts. Same with Texas, we see well in excess of 100, almost 120 mile per hour gusts. And those hurricane gusts of at least 64 miles an hour, you see almost reaching very far into Texas. It's very and in the Bahamas as well. So very strong there. But this is like a very high end scenario. Again, I would never, honestly, if this were to form, it could very well just be a tropical storm and also just go out to sea. It's very uncertain, but any tropical cyclone is a tropical cyclone. You don't need a major hurricane for it to be strong. But again, this track, all of this is very far. This is just one scenario, and I would not go with it at all because that would be irresponsible. Because this is going to change next run. It could be completely different next run. Now, if we look at the exact wind gusts, again, real quick here, we do see up to 120 miles an hour for the Keys, and then for Texas, you see here 124 mile per hour gust, hurricane force gust, very far inland. So, but yeah, same situation there. In terms of sustained winds, according to the GFS, tropical the hurricane. Here, let me move myself up here. Hurricane force winds seem to be sustained to the key, confined to the Keys, but tropical storm force sustained winds are still going to be going inland in Florida, according to this run, while the Keys get major hurricane force winds. Now, the coast of Texas could be seeing major hurricane force winds, and those tropical storm impacts will go more inland. But again, we'll just have to see what happens with this system. And the last thing I'm going to say about the GFS is for the 5-day precipitation from this, just make sure that we're looking at rain only from this system and not before it. 11 inches for the Keys, 1.5 inches for Florida, up to 8-9 inches for parts of Texas, and that 5 inches well inland. But again, this is far. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but this could be definitely a big rain or flooding threat if this were to happen. Now, we have spent a lot of time on the GFS, and it's just because it had a crazy run, so let's go past that. We're going to go to the GEFS ensembles before moving to the European model. So let's refresh this here. So the ensembles for the GEFS have not fully ran, but they are definitely going more out to sea than this run. We see hitting Bermuda out to sea. The GEFS has been more easterly by. I'm not saying it's biased to the east because it could be right and the European could be wrong, but the European model has been right this year, and the GEFS shows more easterly track. So we'll see how that goes. If we look at the MSLP, the average, again, there's not enough ensembles for anything to. When you average out all the ensembles, nothing appears because there's just not enough ensemble showing this. It's more a European model thing, which is rare because we didn't really see that much this year. But let's actually switch. We're going to have to use the 0Z ensembles, by the way, because as you see here, the 12Z hasn't loaded. But if we go to the AI model on the ECMWF, so that it has loaded, and we do see a quickly strengthening hurricane. A tropical storm as it passes the Leeward Islands, quickly strengthening into a hurricane near the Bahamas before going up the north through North Carolina and by New Jersey. So a more easterly run compared to yesterday, but before that it's going back and forth. So we don't know. In terms of wind speed, it shows winds. It's barely showing hurricane force. It's not even showing hurricane force winds. I don't know why this AI model does that. It will show an insanely low pressure and then only tropical storm force winds, but it does show a really massive tropical storm force wind field. That has to be at least 300 miles across. So definitely widespread tropical storm force impacts for the Bahamas and on the coast. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, if we actually go to the main ECMWF model, which I think only loads on here so far. Let's see. I don't think it's loaded on here yet. Oh, it has. Okay, this loads it really fast then. If we look here, we do see the ECMWF basically the same thing as the AI version of the model, just a little more west. It impacts the Bahamas with wind speeds of around, we'll say, tropical storm force winds, but it seems to hit North Carolina with around hurricane force sustained winds. So again, this isn't fully ran through, but we'll see what happens with that. So really, the point of this video is to say that we definitely have either a tropical storm or hurricane. The chances are increasing, and especially for it to hit land, but it definitely could go out to sea. And where it's going to hit, we don't know. It could hit anywhere from Texas to Bermuda to the Maine to out to sea. We have no idea. Current model runs have been kind of showing around Florida, and we'll see what happens with that. But as of right now, we don't really have much of an idea. If we look at the ensembles for the AI model, we'll go to 60 for it. We do see, again, widespread from Florida to out to sea. It's been going back and forth. And if we go to the EPS, runs for 0Z, it go anywhere from out to sea to even like Texas. And if we actually go to the average of all of these, control MSLP, again, yeah, same situation. But for example, if you had a 12Z, to show how certain we are on this, it shows it hitting Florida, ripping through Florida. So really, we have no idea really what's going to happen with this yet. I'll keep you all updated, but the point is that there is a threat of a hurricane. It's increasing. I think Florida right now has the best chance just because it's the average, because the spread is so wide that when you average all the ensembles, it's somewhere around Florida. So I'd say mainly Florida, the chances are increasing, but we'll see what happens with this. But I'll keep you all updated. Let me know if you have any comments or anything. And that's really going to be it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed. By the way, this is 96 LSCLC. It's going to go out to sea. No threat there. But whether this system goes out to sea, whether it's a tropical storm or a major hurricane, whether it forms or not, I'll keep y'all updated. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. And bye guys.